John Donne's poem, A Valediction Forbidding Mourning, was written in 1611 as a farewell to his wife Anne More Donne before he left for a diplomatic mission in France. The poem is a valediction or a farewell speech in which Donne advises his wife not to grieve over their separation, affirming that their love is special and can withstand the physical distance between them. Like most of Donne's work, this poem was published posthumously. The speaker begins the poem by comparing their parting to the quiet death of virtuous man. When these men pass away, their deaths are so peaceful that even those around them are unsure if they have actually died. Donne uses this image to suggest that he and his lover should take a similarly calm approach to their separation, parting without outward displays of sorrow or excessive emotion. He argues that openly expressing grief would cheapen the sacred, private nature of their love, reducing it to something ordinary that could be understood and judged by others. Donne then contrasts earthly events like earthquakes with the more subtle movements of the heavens. Earthquakes are noticeable and cause fear and confusion, whereas the grand celestial motions go unnoticed by most people. This comparison illustrates the difference between ordinary superficial love and the deeper connection that he shares with his lover. Common relationships depend on physical closeness and cannot survive separation. In contrast, their love transcends the physical and operates on a mental or spiritual plane, making it resilient to temporary physical distance. The speaker explains that their souls are unified by love, and though he must leave, their bond will not break. Instead, like finely beaten gold that expands when hammered, their souls will stretch and grow to cover the distance between them. This metaphor emphasizes the strength and flexibility of their love, which can endure challenges without weakening. If their souls are indeed separate, the speaker suggests they are still connected, like the two legs of a drawing compass. He compares his wife to the stationary leg of the compass, which remains fixed at the center, while the other leg moves in a wide circle around it. Though the stationary leg appears still, it responds to the movements of the other, leaning towards it as it travels away, symbolizing how his wife will be affected by his absence but will remain steadfast. As the moving leg of the compass returns to the stationary one, the circle completes perfectly, just as the speaker promises to return to his wife at the end of his journey. Her stability and constancy provide him with the support to complete his journey, confident that he will return to her and their love will remain intact. The poem discusses the separation between lovers and argues that their love transcends physical distance. A valediction is a farewell, and Donne's title explicitly forbids grieving over this farewell, as the speaker believes their love is too profound and spiritual to be affected by physical separation. Donne asserts that their love, based on a strong spiritual connection, makes the parting essentially insignificant. The speaker emphasizes that genuine love, such as the one he shares with his wife, goes beyond the physical realm. He describes how they are inner assured of the mind, meaning their love is based on mutual mental certainty. This spiritual bond is so powerful that the separation of their bodies does not diminish it. Donne highlights that while ordinary lovers rely on physical closeness, his love with Anne is elevated beyond such physical dependencies, making the parting much less painful. The speaker also stresses that their souls are unified and physical separation cannot break this bond. Instead, he compares their souls to a soft metal that, when hammered, expands and stretches to cover the distance between them. This metaphor illustrates how their love, like the metal, can spread and endure across the physical distance, growing rather than weakening. One of the poem's most detailed similes compares their souls to the two legs of a drafting compass. The speaker's wife is like the stationary leg of the compass, while he is the moving leg that draws the circle. Though one leg stays in place, it is toward the moving leg as it travels further away, symbolizing how the wife, though physically apart, will remain connected and responsive to her husband. The fixed leg provides stability, enabling the moving leg to draw a perfect circle. This perfect circle metaphor implies that the speaker will eventually return to where he began, back to his wife. The compass symbolizes their unity, and the circle represents the continuity and perfection of their love, which endures and brings them back together. The theme of physical love versus spiritual love is central to the poem. The speaker criticizes visible grief and physical expressions of sorrow, arguing that such displays would degrade their love. He contrasts their elevated spiritual love with ordinary earthly love, which relies on physical proximity and is fragile in the face of separation. The speaker refers to ordinary people as the laity, comparing their love to something mundane, while his love with Anne is portrayed as sacred and spiritual, something that transcends the physical world. Donne contrasts natural disturbances like earthquakes, which are visible and frightening, with the unnoticed movements of the cosmos. Earthly lovers, whose love is based on physical sensation, experience tumultuous separations much like the chaos of an earthquake. In contrast, the speaker and his wife share a love that, like the movements of the heavens, is grand but subtle, invisible to the outside world. Donne's poem emphasizes that true love is spiritual, refined and unshaken by physical distance. Their love is so pure and strong that it remains unaffected by separation, and the speaker reassures his wife that their bond will still remain intact until they are reunited.